just continue to talk about SummerSlam, the things that stood out to you the most. And I could start it off. Man, besides the Bianca Belair, the squash, I gotta give props. Dream match, we were talking about this last week. Edge versus Seth freaking Rollins. Man, that match, straight 5 stars to me. That match was fire. Just like the storytelling, the like not knowing who was going to win. It's like it's like you don't get that too many times in the WWE nowadays. Most of the time we kind of know who's going to win. And that match, I was like, dang, I didn't know who was actually going to win. I picked Edge, but at the same time, I wouldn't have been surprised if Seth Rollins won that. Especially just the back and forth, the close calls at pinfall, it just was back and forth the whole entire time. And then not only that, Seth Rollins kind of reminds me of a young Edge, just like how their careers is set up. But tell me what your thoughts on that match.
I think the match was great, but then this is what happens when you got two guys that really know what they're doing in the ring to go at it with each other. If I'm not mistaken, Tyler Black, aka Seth Rollins, he was like one of those indie dudes that was killing it, and I can see all that experience coming back in and having him have great matches with a guy like Edge, who, the similar manner, went through the indies and then got really good in WWE in development and stuff like that. And yeah, only thing I really had to say about this match, I gotta watch it again. That good.
It is that good. It's like, come on now. I'm looking forward to SmackDown and seeing how they continue that rivalry between Edge and Seth Rollins, because I know it's not going to end there. It can't end there. People want to see that match again. They want to see how it take it to another level. Put a little stipulation into it, and then just keep having them go back and forth until their rivalry is completely over. But right now, I'm like, nah, I gotta see more.
One thing I gotta say though is, it's like, I'm glad they're allowing Edge to wrestle other people than Randy Orton, but it's like really that they're using him in a way that I think is great, which is just having him do dream matches like this before his time's up.
Yeah.
And by the way, I was gonna ask you, man, who do you think would want to wrestle Edge now?
I mean, there's a lot of dream match scenarios still. I mean, you can have Edge. We haven't got Edge versus AJ Styles yet, even though they're on 2 separate brands. I mean, AJ Styles is not tag team champion no more. They can switch him back to SmackDown and start. I want to see AJ Styles versus Edge, but of course down the line, like, I still want to see more with the Seth Rollins. Edge versus Roman Reigns again. Like, that still hasn't fully, that rivalry hasn't fully come to an end. Like, Edge only lost because Seth Rollins interfered, and so it's still that match still can happen. Edge versus like Kevin Owens, Edge versus Sami Zayn, like it can go down the line. Like, I'm pretty sure all of these matches are gonna be like close to 5 stars. And then even be interesting too is like, what if we got Edge in the title picture again with now Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar? Like, Brock Lesnar and Edge. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's so many different matches you could throw together with Edge, and it's gonna be a great match most likely. So
yeah, I mean, for me though, I would personally, if we can go back in time, at least back to 2018, Tommaso Ciampa versus Edge in a hardcore match, or just a table match. That'd be hype. I'd love to see that match, man.
Johnny Wrestling, Adam Cole, like
yeah.
Adam Cole. But see, that's another thing. There's rumors that Adam Cole may be going to AEW.
It's a possibility because, as you can see, they kind of broken up the Undisputed Era and let go of the people that he came in with. And we don't know if he's going to stick around or not. But hey, man, we still got his Twitch channel. So that's one thing to be grateful for.
Man, what's funny about the WWE to me? Like, man, we didn't get the Undisputed Era on the main roster, and before they already broke up the group. I feel like WWE breaks up the groups way too soon now. I feel like they kind of go off of like, they're trying to get that instant star now, more so than back in the past. Like, Like with the Nation of Domination, they took time to build up The Rock. With even DX, they took time to build up Triple H. Like, I feel like even with the Hurt Business, they broke up the Hurt Business so soon. It's like, I get Bobby Lashley is the star of that group, but it's like now we kind of we lose Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander again to just be nothing. They just out there just doing nothing again, or not even on the show.
And what hurts me is Cedric Alexander is a very good wrestler too, similar to Shelton Benjamin. And you know what's crazy? I remember when they broke up the Hurt Business, dang near every wrestling legend and superstar was like, who didn't done that? That was a terrible idea. And I have to agree. But like you said, they're obviously searching for gold, man, and they're just getting copper every time.
Exactly. It's like the only one that the WWE hasn't like done that with as of recent, I would say, is the Shield. The Shield, they actually allowed them to build up, and then they all became stars. So like that, I would say they did right by the Shield. But these recent groups, they're not giving them enough time to build up. Like Undisputed Era, I wanted to see them on the main roster. But now we may not even get to see Adam Cole in the WWE. If Adam Cole, because we talked about this in past podcasts, Adam Cole to us is a star. If he goes to AEW, I'm telling you that landscape keeps on shifting a little bit more. It's like now people talking about dream matches with Adam Cole and CM Punk. It's like Adam Cole and Kenny Omega. It's just so many different people. So it's just like, I don't know. WWE got to start. They got to start thinking about how they build up these young stars, because I haven't seen recently. I checked out this new documentary that's on the WWE Network, and it talked about how Rhea Ripley, how she felt like she was, great on NXT. Like they understood her character. She felt like she was at her best. Then she went up to the main roster, and I was like, dang, they actually allowing them to talk like this? She basically said, she was like, then she felt like she lost herself on the main roster. And I'm like, why does this WWE keep doing this with the main roster? I don't understand what's going on.
I have a theory, right? That the guys that are creating and making storylines for the WWE main roster do not watch NXT at all, or if not, they're just oblivious to it, right? So when they get these guys, like they think they get like a brief summary of what they are and what they did, and then just kind of throw them out there and see what happens, and they're going off of crowd reactions and just to see how things go. It's it's really disappointing, because I seen on this past Monday Night Raw, I seen Ricochet get thrown out there just to get squashed. I think, but I forgot the dude name. He's not the champion of NXT anymore, but he was. It's like Cross or something like that. Karrion Kross.
Yeah. And he just went out there and just beat down Ricochet, and I was like, dang, is this what we have come to, a Ricochet? Ricochet was a household name on NXT, and he was someone that I thought could be a star on the main roster, and now he's just getting thrown out there to get squashed to build up other NXT superstars. I'm like,
hey, remember a few years ago they did this to him with Brock Lesnar? They fed him to Brock.
I'm like, what is they doing? Like, I don't want to go too much into that, but because we still got to talk about John Cena and Roman Reigns. What's your thoughts on that match at SummerSlam?
My favorite part about that match was it didn't happen on screen, but it happened on Twitter. Brock Lesnar came back, looked at that corpse I call John Cena, and just repeatedly continued to mess him up. And I kept smiling. I had to put that on replay a bunch of times. Should have left it in on TV. Yes.
John Cena, man, we need something new, man. I understand John Cena's, he's about to take a break again. He's gonna do his movies and stuff. But John, I know this ain't the end. I know this ain't the last time we seeing you. When you come back to the WWE, don't come back with them same jeans shorts, them same pink, green, orange t-shirts. Switch it up, John. Switch it up. Can we get a heel version of John Cena for the first time? And how long have John Cena's been wrestling? It's been at least 20, maybe, I don't even know. It's been like 15 years.
I wouldn't even mind if he came out as that Suicide Squad character, just came out in that outfit. I'd be like, all right, cool, it's something different. But John, he has to do something, but I understand why, because people, a lot of fans who love that character of John Cena, and he loves to be loved. But I'm like, bro, it's time to switch it up, man. These people, this audience is gonna grow up, and you gotta go move on with the times as well, man. It's about that time.
The thing is, though, I feel like if he turned heel, it will make us appreciate when he eventually becomes babyface again. We'd be like, it's like Roman Reigns. It's like when people was like sick and tired of like Vince and the writers trying to make us cheer Roman Reigns. It's like they're already booing Roman. Just turn him heel. Why did y'all take so long? Now we're like, this is the best Roman Reigns we have ever seen. It's like when he's heel. And then eventually, if you do turn him back babyface, I'm pretty sure like we appreciate it a lot more, because we'd be like, dang, like y'all, like we actually see how great Roman Reigns is now, instead of y'all trying to like force us to cheer for him. So it's the same thing with John Cena. It's like, but John Cena, of course, is like still gonna get cheered and he's still beloved. But at the same time, you got people that chants John Cena sucks too. So it's like, I mean, they just got to switch it up. John, you got to switch it up. I know you creative. You can come up with something that can change the wrestling landscape. If you turn heel, if John Cena, imagine John Cena turns heel and then he forms a group of young upcoming talent. He's gonna build up that young talent, because then it's John Cena. People are naturally gonna watch John Cena. He's a huge name. Turn John Cena heel, it's gonna change up a lot of stuff and it'll be good. Like John Cena with a suit on and just being whatever the case may be, he needs to switch it up.
Hey man, clown idea, but John Cena on a reformed, undisputed era.
Whatever they need to do, John Cena needs a change. Like Roman needed a change. Now Roman's just dominating. That match was, if we talk about the match itself, I thought that match was great too. I thought that was maybe kind of like the second best match of the night, but I thought that was a phenomenal match. But yeah, John, come on now. When you come back, switch it up. Did anything else stand out to you with SummerSlam?
Other than almost in AJ Styles no longer being champion, but then I'm like thinking to myself, man, has Randy Orton really held every belt like 3 or 4 times in a row? God dang. But I'm looking forward to see what they do with Omos. Hopefully this is when he starts to go into singles push. I feel like him, Montez Ford, and one of the guy, I forgot his name at the moment, they can be superstars if they just built them up correctly, man. And then the other thing that took my attention on, it's like more of like just a fleeting moment, but it was like watching Goldberg's son pop up out of nowhere and attack Bobby Lashley. I was like thinking to myself, I remember when he was like a kid, man, because I saw him on this video going over Triple H's history in his character, right? And he shows up at the end of the video with Goldberg. He's like a boy, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, he didn't grow up. That's crazy how time flies. And if you haven't heard of it, man, just check out Max Landis' Triple H video. It's good. But that's crazy, man. Other than that, though, yeah, it was a throwaway match with Goldberg. But hey, that's what you expect with Goldberg matches, man.
I ain't gonna lie. Goldberg's son grew up the fastest. That is the fastest kid that has grown up ever. I was like, Goldberg just returned to me, and then that kid, he was like a little baby. I'm like, how the heck where did time go that he looked like he had like in high school, like a teenager, man. Now, like grown man. I'm like, what the heck? I don't know, but it definitely was satisfying to see Bobby Lashley put the Hurt Lock on him. I was like, man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm loving what Bobby Lashley MVP is doing. They deserve to still be in the spotlight. Bobby Lashley deserves to be the WWE champion right now. So I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to see what they gonna do next with Bobby Lashley. And I told you, man, I said they gonna figure out a way to either have Bobby Lashley win this match, but not like by pinfall, and they just had Bobby Lashley just beat down Goldberg, take out his legs. They just had him dominate him now. So in the future, Goldberg can still come back and be like, I didn't actually lose. I didn't get pinned. And then eventually Goldberg probably can challenge Bobby Lashley again and be like, you know, I hate you or whatever case may be. Look what you did to my son.
I want to see though, right? Here's how it goes up, right? What's it called? Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar happens, and Bobby Lashley interferes and costs Brock Lesnar the match. And then here's what happens, right? So Brock gets into a rivalry with Bobby, and Goldberg appears to spear Bobby Lashley. And then you could possibly have a triple threat match between the Bobby Lashley, Goldberg, and Brock Lesnar.
And you know what's actually interesting about that? That's a fire idea, but that also helps out Goldberg. Because let's say, I think Goldberg's probably best fit for a triple threat match or something where it's not a one-on-one, where he has to do a lot of moves or try to figure it out, because we know what's going to happen with that. It's going to be a short match. But if you now put Bobby and Brock in there, Bobby and Brock can be like, they can keep the pace of the match, and Goldberg here and there can have a big spot where he spears somebody through the barricade, or he does something big, but then for the rest of the match, he's kind of like, he gets suplexed and then, or gets thrown out of the ring, and he kind of just buys time. Yeah. Because now, but then when it's just one-on-one, it seemed like Goldberg is like, at this age right now, it doesn't seem like he can carry a one-on-one match. I'm not sure if he was, even back in the day, he was really carrying a one-on-one match. So I'm like, right now for sure, a triple threat match and then we know Bobby and Brock can carry a one-on-one match. That actually may work even way better for just not only like star power, but also for in-ring, like for even Goldberg.
Yeah. See, WWE got to hire him, man.
Yeah, so they need to put that together. I wouldn't be surprised though. That would be pretty dope. Like a Goldberg, Bobby, and Brock. That would be pretty dope. I'll be interested in seeing what they may do that for WrestleMania. You may have just called their WrestleMania match. You may have just did it.
We'll find out.
We may. And then we still got to see what happens with Roman as time goes on. But that may be pretty dope though. The only thing I'm trying to think of anything else that stood out to me with SummerSlam was that the Usos, they had a good match with Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. That was a pretty good match. The Usos pulled it out. Other than that, I mean, Charlotte Flair is like the 12th time champion already. So I'm like, she's back champion. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah. But then again, we all knew that Super Nikki wasn't going to last long.
Why did they even have her win the Money in the Bank just to...
I would have loved for this to happen and Hurricane been in her corner the entire time.
Man.
Instead, we just another missed opportunity. God dang it. We know Hurricane will show up. We know he will.
Man, they could have had a bet. I don't like when WWE gets rid of the Money in the Bank contract that quick. Like, I like when the wrestler keeps it for a long time and then cashes it when we least expect it. And then like the best cash in probably to me was Seth Rollins at WrestleMania when he cashed in on Roman and Brock. And
WrestleMania?
Yeah, at WrestleMania. And that was at that WrestleMania actually. That was in the new 49ers stadium. So, and that was it was amazing because Seth Rollins was the money he had the contract for so long. And that we didn't expect him to cash it in at WrestleMania, and then he did. He cashed it in and made it a triple threat match, and he won the belt. It's like they had, what's her name? Is it Nikki? Is it Nikki? They had her win, and then she wins the belt, and then now she loses it that quick, and it's like, well,
that kind of reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of when Stone Cold didn't quite want to lose to Triple H, should he give it to Mick Foley just so he can get the belt off of Mick?
Oh, yeah. And he was champion for a short amount of time, too.
Yeah.
WWE has a way of doing this now. I'm starting to see it's kind of coming full circle. But let us move on to your segment where you highlight past wrestling. So you can go ahead and introduce that to the people.
All right, so this segment is pretty much I'm gonna go back in time and just talk about some past wrestling matches or past wrestlers that I think are deemed like they need the spotlight on it due to the fact it's because we don't want things to get lost to the annals of time. That's just how it is. So we're gonna pick up something that's a little bit more recent, and this wrestler's name is Moose. He's a very big man, very strong man. And on top of that, I think he would have had a bright future, but unfortunately, he has some issues with this past that he has to overcome. But in this path of overcoming his past, he is one of TNA's bright spots. It made me watch TNA in almost over 10 years. And on top of that, TNA is not even on like a regular channel. They're on a weird network, but that's besides the point. Moose is the unofficial TV champion of TNA. And what he does is he goes around with a belt that he's not really the champion for, and getting challenging and accepting challenges from people across the roster. And he puts on very good matches back to back to back. And it's like, oh my God, they need to make this man champion, but it's like understandable that why they don't do it. But it's like, this is pretty much like if you want to check out TNA, you want to see a big man wrestler put on a good match, TNA is the place right here with Moose. And then another thing I want to touch on, since we're still on TNA, is, do you remember the time Sting was the Joker?
Oh man, I don't actually. I actually don't.
Yeah, so a hot minute Sting was going through a Joker phase because the Dark Knight movie dropped, and Heath Ledger's Joker was popular, and Sting kind of had a transformation into that. And bro, him and Kurt Angle have some dope matches that you gotta check out. And on TNA, and this is like to me is like what I've been missing out on TNA, because even though only WWE was popping off, TNA were having classics in the background, and they were having Kurt Angle, Sting, and AJ Styles go at it, man. And if you want to see like a good run of like a crazy character, you want to watch Joker Sting, the crazy icon, go up against guys like Mr. Kennedy, Kurt Angle, and I think not Hulk Hogan. He went up against one other guy that was really dope. But back in that era, man, you got to check it out, man. And he was doing a lot of crazy stuff. Like he was just showing up on people's trailers. He was just showing up in random spots and just giving people the business, man. This was a cool run to watch. Crazy part is he was 50 around this time as well, man.
And he's still back. And he's back again on AEW now. I gotta check it out. I gotta learn more about that Sting on TNA.
Yeah, Joker Sting. And one more match though you probably will need to check out, because it's gonna involve somebody else later on, is this match is legendary, which is Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero back in WCW. This match is like, the best way I can put it, this is wrestling lore history right there in the making. And this is like pretty much like they gave these two like a spot to do in a pay-per-view match, and they also built up a rivalry for it, and it's all based around getting that mask off of Rey Mysterio. And it's one of the best matches you can watch on pretty much on pay-per-view, man. It's like, if there's anything like a perfect match, this is one of those perfect matches, man.
I for sure will check it out. I know Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, they got a lot of classic matches, and even in WCW. So that's another one I gotta rewind and check it out.
And I think what's crazy about this match, this was like back in the 90s where people weren't too hip on luchadors and that style of wrestling, but the fans ate that up, man. And I don't want to spoil this match, but this is one of those matches you gotta see if you have the Peachtree Network, or if not, if you can find it on YouTube, go for it, man. It's one of those must-see matches.